How you guys all doing today? Welcome back to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Manny Maradiaga, today on October the 11th, getting geared up for Week 6, the remainder of Week 6 after it kicked off last night. And we're going to talk about the game last night between the Seahawks and the 49ers. A pretty entertaining game after the halftime period, and we're going to talk about it, the 49ers, how confident we are in them to hold on to that lead, and also, are we panicking a little bit on the Seattle Seahawks? That is coming up in just a few moments. Also, we're going to go through the decision by the New York Jets to downgrade Nathaniel Hackett and take him off play calling duties and promote their passing game coordinator, Todd Downing, to those responsibilities, plus some more topics down the line on today's show. Make sure to stick around for that for the remainder of the episode. But before we get started, if you guys weren't aware already, if you guys want to be part of this show, get involved with a question, an opinion, or any comment that you'd like to share, please don't hesitate to do that. We always want to hear your input and insight. It always makes the show better in our opinion, and we thrive off of your energy that you guys bring to the show, making it more interactive. So whether it's a quick comment, question, or opinion you'd like to share, please don't hesitate to share it now with our new Super Chat feature. Just click the $ at the bottom of the chat box to send in your Super Chat. In this way, it guarantees that your message gets on the air, and it's also a fantastic way to support our channel, and we rely on your support to keep bringing you the sports content you love, and we appreciate every bit of it. So go ahead and let us know what you're thinking. Hit the Super Chat button, and let's keep this show as interactive and as exciting as possible. Make sure, again, to use that Super Chat feature, the new Super Chat button, and get involved with the show in any way you guys would like to on today's show. So with that now out of the way, we can talk about last night in what was a pretty entertaining game, I would say, just from the fact that it was a divisional game. We wanted to see some highs and lows and a lot of entertainment, and we certainly got that, at least mostly in the second half, I believe, because the 49ers extend their dominant run over the Seattle Seahawks recently with a 36-24 victory in Seattle last night. It's their 6th win in a row in this series, and now the 49ers are 3-3 on the year, and now they are first place in the division with this win, while the Seattle Seahawks drop out of first place, obviously, and now they lose their 3rd game in a row, and now are also 3-3 on the season. And San Francisco never trailed in this game, right from start to finish. You know, they were always in the lead, or at least tied for whatever amount of time being. And it was a lot of moments I felt like it was kind of close. You know, you saw the Seahawks kind of get things together, or by some miracle, you know, you looked at that first half, and we're going to get into it. You look at that first half and you're thinking, I don't know if the Seahawks are going to get anything going, or you don't see how it's only 16-13 after that first half. But the second half proved to be a bit more entertaining, like I said. And looking at some of the performances that we got last night, looking at the winning side first, Brock Purdy, he finished with over 250 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day, and was 18 of 28. Jordan Mason had 9 carries for 73 yards and was looking very good to start the game, but he injured his shoulder and he came back to the sideline, but he hardly ever played in that second half for medical reasons, obviously. If he wasn't 100%, Kyle Shanahan clearly felt that he wasn't, so he was held off. And one of the guys that benefited mostly off of that was their rookie running back, Isaac Guerendo. He came in and had 10 carries right away, 99 yards, and San Francisco as a whole unit had 228 rushing yards total, with Kyle Juszczyk scoring the only rushing touchdown of the night. And Deebo Samuel also contributed with 3 receptions, 102 yards, and that long 76-yard touchdown as well. George Kittle having more of an offensive involved season, I believe, than years past, because I don't know exactly how many touchdowns he scored, but it feels like every time I watch him in these games, he's always at least scoring in the red zone. He's becoming one of their go-to guys in there, and he had 5 receptions for 58 yards and those 2 touchdowns, like I mentioned. And it's great to see. It's great to see if we talked about those red zone struggles, and if you can have Kittle in there really being a force like he has been over the last couple weeks, it's a great sign for them, and Brock Purdy as well, to have that reliable option. And then the other side with Geno Smith, another game where he just has to throw it every single play. It seems like he finished 3 of 52 for over 300 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions that end up being costly. And I'll mention Kenneth Walker because he had 14 carries for 32 yards, which it's not more as a fact to highlight it, but just more so to point it out as a concerning thing, because you look at the 49ers and they had nearly almost 200 more yards rushing overall, and Kenneth Walker couldn't even get up to like 50 or anything like that, or 100. So it is a problem. I think the Seahawks are becoming more notable that their running game as well as defending the run isn't something that is one of their strong suits. But again, they are missing some defensive linemen. I acknowledge that, but still, I need to see more out of that unit specifically, because Geno, the first 3 weeks have looked good, but now over the last 3 weeks, we're seeing more of these turnovers, and we're going to get to what Mike McDonald said on that. But looking at the game, like I said, looking at the recap of this game, it was a pretty bad start right out of the gate for the Seahawks. In that first half, they received the ball first, and they were actually putting together a solid drive. They got into the red zone while San Francisco was obviously defending, and we saw the first interception, right? Geno threw it to Mustafa, I want to say, was the rookie safety who was playing instead of Talanoa Hufanga. So he contributed right away, picked off Geno Smith. You have a turnover in the red zone to start the game. Not the way you want to do it. And then that was only one of the 6 possessions that Seattle had in the first half. And outside of that interception, they also fumbled in one of their drives by Laviska Shenault. He fumbled on a punt return or a kick return, I want to say. I forget which one it was, but he fumbled in one of their drives. They also had 3 punts in the first half. They really struggled to get any momentum outside of those turnovers, right? Not helping out in building that rhythm. And if it wasn't for that last drive where they kicked that field goal, they would have been held scoreless through the first half at home. And the 49ers would have been up 16-0 instead of 16-3. And the 49ers, while I'm saying the Seahawks didn't play great, the 49ers really didn't take too much advantage of it outside of that long touchdown, which I think was more of an error than a great play by the 49ers. It was a good throw, I guess you could say, to be fair, not be too overcritical. But, if the guy really, I didn't think he was going to get there anyway. So for him to dive at it like that, I just felt like he was giving it up too easily. So that's why I feel like it was more on them. But regardless, they scored a touchdown. They still weren't that great in the red zone, at least in the first half. So that was a little bit concerning, but still, they were leading at halftime. And then after that, both teams each scored a touchdown right out of the gate in the second half, and it was 23-10. Then San Francisco punted, and the Seahawks scored another touchdown, and now it's 23-17. And it's starting to feel like maybe, I'm kind of rooting for the Seahawks here to see if we could get more excitement in this game, right? If they somehow, after that first half that they had, can they come back and get something going? But they never really got over the hump, and I think that's one of the problems that I had with this game. The Seahawks were so close, even despite the interceptions, the bad running game, and all that. They were still within a score. They had a chance when it was 23-17, like I said, to kind of take the lead there. But it was that killer drive where they were in the red zone again, or actually no, they were starting a drive and they were in their own red zone trying to get out of their own half. And Geno threw another interception to, I want to say, another rookie for the 49ers. His name is escaping me, but still, that was a killer. That was a killer, right? That second interception. And then after that, the Seahawks kind of got something. They were putting together some drives, but you never really felt that it was going to get any better other than that situation. So the game ended up being 36-24, and now we get to these questions that I had in my head when the game concluded, right? The turnovers were a big problem, and right now, after winning 3 in a row and losing 3 in a row for the Seahawks, are you guys willing to sort of, sell that stock you guys had in the Seattle Seahawks? For a lot of people that were really believing in them, me being one of them, after their loss to the Lions, I was thinking, that was a if there was ever such thing as a good loss, that would have been it. You go toe-to-toe pretty much with the Lions, and you come close on the road. Not a lot of teams can say that they do that. But now I'm starting to get, like, my hands are starting to get a little clammy or something like that, right? It is starting to get a bit nerve-wracking with this team. They are 3-3. It's not like they're 1-4 or something like that, but it's not a good sign. And Mike McDonald, like I said, he mentioned the turnovers being one of their biggest problems. They now lead the NFL with the most giveaways with 10 after last night with 3 more. And, they got to cut that out because, like I mentioned, the running game, there's such a disparity when they're trying to defend it. And if they're not producing enough on their end, they can't turn the ball over like that, because you look at their last 3 games, they've been outrushed by their opponents 519 yards rushing to 287 over their last 3 games. And when that's the case, yeah, you could still be in these close games if Geno and the offense has a great passing game. But those turnovers, the margin of error with those turnovers, if Geno's going to throw the ball 45 times a game, you can't turn the ball over maybe only once if you're going to have to do it. No more than that, because then at that point, the rhythm's sort of gone. You become one-dimensional, and then it doesn't help anybody. So because of that, that's where I'm feeling with the Seahawks. I'm a little nervous about them, but I'm not completely selling on them right now. And as for the 49ers, it was a needed win. They certainly wanted to get back to at least 500, obviously, for the caliber of team that they are. But to answer a question like if I think they're going to just run away with the division, I don't think so, because the Cardinals have proven to be a very tough opponent, very stubborn opponent, if you will. The Seahawks are still 3-3. I'm not throwing in the towel on them, obviously. And the Rams are talented if they had their guys playing, right? I believe that those guys are obviously that important, and they beat the 49ers already, and the Cardinals smacked the Rams. So it's very up and down with this division. It's awesome to see because you don't know what you're going to get, but I don't think this has solidified anything with either of these two teams. We are seeing some more signs, positive for the 49ers and a little bit more negative for the Seahawks, but I don't think anything solidified. The 49ers jump up to the lead, but that could change this Sunday if the Cardinals win. Now they're in first place, so keep an eye on that. It looks like the NFC West is going to be a wild division to follow, as well as other divisions as well across the NFL. But we're going to leave that there. It was a great Thursday night game to start off the week. But now we're going to talk about the New York Jets a little bit more and their decision to name Todd Downing, their pass game coordinator, as their new play caller. Nathaniel Hackett's still on the team. He had those responsibilities, but their new head coach, Jeff Ulbrich, decided to take him off of that. We're going to go into why that is, what went into that decision, and what does it say about the Jets by just keeping Nathaniel Hackett and firing Robert Saleh after this latest development. So we'll get into that. There's a lot more to come on today's show. We'll be right back.